In this video, I'm going to explain how you can determine the size of your designs on PixelLab. So you need to understand that every design, whether it's a print design or a digital design, must have a size. Now, a lot of upcoming designers do not actually know this, but that's the essence of this tutorial because I'm going to explain it carefully. So stay with me. Now, there are three main sizes to any design, like let's say to any flyer. Now we have the portrait size. So we will have something like this. Let's assume this is a background and this is our flyer. So we'll have something like this. Now this is a portrait size. Let me make this background black. Okay, so let's assume this white shape is our flyer. So as you can see, this is a portrait. This is what you call portrait. You understand? Then we have landscape. Now landscape is something like this. Landscape is something like this. Now this is landscape. You understand? And then we have like the normal perfect square. Now the normal perfect square is this. This is the normal perfect square. Now to make this more easier to understand, let me insert some designs on this background so you understand what I am actually explaining. So I have this design. This is a square, perfect square design. Now a lot of flyers are designed this way, which means when you come on PixelLab, you don't need to edit any size. You can just use this canvas to start designing. That is if it's a perfect square design. Now you also have designs like let me turn this off. You also have designs like this. This is a landscape. So this is what I'm trying to explain. This is a landscape. As you can see, it has the rectangle shape, and then you also have something like this. Now this is the portrait flyer. Now let us see how you can start, how you can actually fix the sizes on your canvas on PixelLab. So let's assume we want to make if you want to make something that is perfect square, this is what you have. You don't need to edit the size. But let's say you want to make a landscape design. Now you're going to click on the three dots here, right here. Click on these three dots, then go to image size. As you can see right here, image size. Then you're going to insert your sizes. Now PixelLab is not like Canva or like Photoshop that you can actually put in inches or meters, in sizes. Yeah, it works differently. So you just have to be able to use logic when doing this. So for instance, if let's say I want to make a landscape design. Now a landscape design, which means the height will not be too, the height will be smaller than the width. So it is the height. So the height now can be, let's say the height can be, let's make it 600. Then the width, let's say the width 1300. Now this is landscape. You can see we have resized it, and then you can design. Now if you want to make portraits, now for portrait the width has to be smaller than the height. So the width, let's say the width this time would be, let's say 700. Then the height 1200. Oh, sorry, sometimes this happens. Let's do it again. I made a mistake. I went to type in 7200. That's too much. I meant 1200. Okay, so you can see now we have our landscape. We have our portrait. So this is how sizes work. Now let me explain something else. If you are trying to design for a client, let's say you want let's say a client wants to print the design. Now the design will have to have a specific size, but irrespective of the size, the design is either landscape, portrait, or perfect square. Now, I will explain. I just hope you understand this. Now, let's say somebody wants to print a banner and it's a perfect square banner. Now, the perfect square or the size of that perfect square banner would be something like, let's say 2 meters by 2 meters, or let's say 20 inches by 20 inches. It's always like that. The height and the width will be the same thing. You understand? Let's practicalize it. So if I put in, let's choose square. So as you can see, the size is the same, the width is the same, the height is the same. It gives you perfect square. So whatever size that your client sends, as long as it's perfect square, you don't even need to edit it. You can just leave it like this. Now let's say it is for a landscape design. Now if it's a landscape design, we might have something like 35 inches. Let's say the width can be, let's say, 50 inches, while the height can be, let's say, 25 inches. So you have this. You get. And then if it's a portrait, if it's a portrait, you are simply switching the sizes this time. It is the height that will have something like this, 50, while the width will have 25, and you have your portrait. So whatever design that the client is sending you, whatever size the client is sending you, you need to be sure first if the design is going to come out as a landscape or a portrait or a perfect square design, so that when you impute the sizes right here, it would come out exactly the way it's supposed to come out. So what I mean is, for instance, if a client comes and say, oh, this banner I'm about to print is landscape, and then they give you the size, and after imputing the size, what comes out is portrait. That means the size the client sent you is wrong. You understand? So if a client says he wants to print a landscape flyer, that means the measurements they send must correlate with what they want. It means the measurements should also bring out a landscape design. So if you have more questions about this, you can use the comments, or if you're in the community, if you're in the Telegram community, you can just drop your questions there. I would definitely respond once I see it. That's it. I'll see you next time.